for weeks. And it's over. Who's going to hockey's second season? Who will be left behind? 14 days until we find out. Some teams are trying to get in.
Push, boys, let's go!
Others are trying to stay in.
Go on!
For one team, being in or out could change each game. A chance at a President's Trophy for one. A chance at a top lottery pick for another. Different teams, different positions. Less than 10 games to determine their fate. The lights are on. The fans are out. The time to win is now. Welcome to Hockey Night in Canada.
Hello, you Glorious Nation. Hockey Night in Canada is on the air. Tonight, the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs face off in downtown Toronto. Toronto playing out the string, but they'd love to play spoiler against Ottawa tonight. Just up to 4:01 we go. Heading east, the Montreal Canadiens and the Florida Panthers. Roberto Luongo looking for his 400th. Carey Price back in net after Tokarski got shelled in Winnipeg. That game is over on City. Welcome to Hockey's Biggies Night. My name is George Stroumboulopoulos. It is always an honor to be with you. Right now, there are 4 Canadian teams in the playoffs. The last times there were 4 Canadian teams in the Stanley Cup playoff picture, 05-06. You may recall Edmonton, Alberta, a moment of joy. You snuck in and took that all the way to the finals. It is so exciting this time of year at any time, but now, with the way the Canadian teams are playing, it's that much more exciting. To get you set up, we'll take you throughout the rinks, but first we start with Cassie Campbell Pascal. Cassie, walk us through what fans of their teams will get tonight.
Thanks very much, George. A huge game for the Ottawa Senators as they played the Leafs tonight in Toronto on CBC. And the question mark this morning was who will be playing in goal for the Sens? Well, it'll be Craig Anderson. He's played in just 2 games of the Sens' last 27. And an interesting note, it'll be Chris Driedger, not Andrew Hammond, who will be backing him up. The Bruins beat the Rangers this afternoon. The Sens find themselves on the outside looking in, but they get Clark MacArthur back. He's missed the last 18 games with a concussion. Colin Greening will be out. And for the Leafs, Nazem Kadri returns after serving a 4-game suspension. And James Reimer will be between the pipes. George?
Thank you very much, Cass. Okay, to Montreal we go. To find out what's happening with the Habs looking to clinch a playoff spot tonight, David Amber is standing by au Quebec.
All right, George, you're going to love the matchup here tonight. Check this out. The last 2 goalies to lead Canada to gold at the Olympics facing off head-to-head tonight. At one end, you have Roberto Luongo, who, by the way, is going for his 400th career win here in his hometown of Montreal. At the other end, Carey Price, in what has been an MVP-type season, hopes to continue that role as the Canadians hope to clinch a playoff berth with a win. But it's been a struggle of late. 2 straight losses for the Habs, so a little shake-up in the lineup. Devontae Smith-Pelly, he's a healthy scratch. In draws Brian Flynn onto the 4th line. As for the Panthers, they're trying to claw their way back into a playoff position. They're now 5 points behind the Bruins, and they're also going to have to do it without their leading scorer, Nick Bjugstad. Yesterday, season-ending back surgery. He is done. One thing to keep an eye on, though, the Montreal Canadiens. 7 games left on their schedule. They've got to figure out what's going wrong with their power play if they want to make a deep playoff run. In the last 2 months, George, 6 for 59. That's about a 10% clip. Not going to get it done. A huge reason they're the lowest scoring team currently positioned to make it to the postseason. George?
Thank you very much, Mr. Amber, and thank you, Cassie Campbell Pascal. Habs and Panthers on City, Leafs and Sens on CBC. Later tonight, the Canucks and Stars on CBC as well. Puck Drop is next.
Welcome to Toronto and Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, where it's the last and final meeting between the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Sens have won 2 of the first 3. The season may be lost for the Leafs as a team, but not as an organization. Garrett Gamble from Duck Lake, Saskatchewan, through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, has signed a one-day contract with the Leafs. He got to meet some of his favorite players as he was wheeled into the dressing room. Phil Kessel, Tyler Bozak, Dion Phaneuf. He watched the morning skate from the bench. He's got his own sweater, the G-Man. He has Morquio syndrome, which is the absence of enzymes to break down molecules that help build bone, cartilage, and connective tissues. He received an unbelievable experience over the last 48 hours. Got a chance to be introduced to the media by the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Peter Horacek. Brought his 3 sisters, his mom and his dad. And seconds ago, Wendell Clark just skated around the Air Canada Centre with Garrett. Imagine that. The captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the great former captain, Wendell Clark. Who better to do that? And imagine all of that, and his only wish was to drop the ceremonial puck. That part is coming up next as we enjoy this moment with Garrett Gamble and Wendell Clark.
The Toronto Maple Leafs learned of Garrett's love for hockey and the Leafs through the Children's Wish Foundation and immediately took action to bring him onto the roster. Garrett's wish was to meet the Maple Leafs, drop the puck at center ice, and bring his family with him to watch his favorite team live. To honor his wish, we now ask the captain of your Toronto Maple Leafs, Dion Phaneuf, and Ottawa Senators captain Erik Karlsson to join Garrett and Wendell at center ice for tonight's ceremonial face-off. Thank you, Dion, Erik, and Wendell. And from all of Leafs Nation, we're proud to have you, Garrett, as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Will you please rise, remove your hats, and join Elliot Madore in the singing of our national anthem. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy songs command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Good evening, everybody. The Maple Leafs are now playing the role of spoiler. So the Ottawa Sens will have to be ready. They will have to play hard. They are knocking on the door to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Craig Anderson makes his first start in net since March the 10th. He has 14 wins and a .244 goals against average this season. James Reimer gets another start against the Senators. He allowed 3 goals on 18 shots last Saturday in Ottawa. He didn't finish that game. Referees are Mike Legault and Paul Dvorsky. On the line, Steve Miller and Brad Kovacic. Starting for Ottawa, Carlson and Mathop, the defenseman. Pajot will take the center ice with Lazar and Condra. For the Maple Leafs, Morgan Riley and Jake Gardiner. And up front, Carrick, Sill, and Panik. Such an important game for the Ottawa Sens. As Cassie mentioned, Ottawa saw Boston go by them and win today. So they're trailing that last playoff spot, the wild card spot, by 2 points. Let's see what happens tonight in Toronto. Ottawa in white with the puck first. Dumped ahead on the line and in deep, and it bounced off the boards and hit the back of the net, but it's an icing call right off the bat.
Well, Dave Cameron knew that his team was not really what they should have been against the New York Rangers a couple of games ago. He said they thought they were flat, they didn't have any jump, but he expects his team to bounce back. They've been doing it all year long for him.
Face-off won by Ottawa. Carlson whipped the pass right away on the boards. It didn't get out. Stopped out there by Jake Gardiner. But now turning with the puck is Lazar. Comes to center. The pass got in over the line. They're offside. Joining the rush was Erik Karlsson, and a little bit anxious at the blue line.
Toronto Maple Leafs all night long. The 65 train is going to be covered. Leads the NHL in points for defensemen. He's on a line with Lazar, Pajot. You think about it, Pajot, the guy who was in the minors at the start of the year. Lazar, a first-round pick. Condra was a scratch. Now it's a top third line in the NHL.
Bozak, Kessel, Van Riemsdyk on for the Maple Leafs. First save of the game. James Reimer, nice glove hand on that hard shot, heading upstairs.
Well, interesting locations. Clark MacArthur going high over the glove on Reimer, a spot where they had some success the last time these two teams met. Clark MacArthur, a welcome addition to this team coming off injury, and they need him tonight. Big time on the big line.
Turris, Stone, and MacArthur for Ottawa now. And there is Turris on the puck, but he couldn't control it. Down the ice for the Maple Leafs, dumped ahead by Van Riemsdyk in deep. Comes all the way back to the line where Gardiner stopped it and shoved the pass into the corner. That'll be cleared out to center ice, and Gardiner read that play and got back. Gardiner to his partner, and Riley gives it to him again. Gardiner comes on across his own line, past center ice with a pass. He got in there ahead of everybody, and Ottawa's back the other way. Hoffman, standout rookie for Ottawa, played on the boards, lost the puck, but it's Karlsson stopping it, and then he too lost it. And it's back inside the Ottawa blue line. Skating defenseman Erik Karlsson got back in a hurry. Again with the puck, played it back out. Now down near center ice, broken up, and the Maple Leafs on the attack again. Van Riemsdyk, a good move, right in front of the net, and a good chance right there for a Lupul who was with him. Comes off the boards, back to Phaneuf. Drilled a shot in wide of the net, hoping for a deflection in front. There was a big crowd in front of Anderson. Both teams getting a chance early in the hockey game. But there's no score yet coming up to the 2-minute mark of the first. Bobby Ryan in there took a hit. Zibanejad carried on, couldn't get the puck. Ryan will, behind the net, got it out in front. Zibanejad didn't see it. They're still on the attack in there, though, until Phaneuf stepped up and took the puck away. Maple Leafs cleared off the boards down the ice. No icing, waved off, so they had to hurry back. Werkosh did that, and then threw the puck up to the line. Down through center, that's broken up at the Leaf line, and turning quickly is Komarov. He shot the puck in and headed off in a change. Very few whistles in the early going, so a lot of changing going on. The Leafs in, high shot, stopped by Anderson. Got the glove up, and David Booth had a great chance to score.
January 21st, this guy left the net playing against the Maple Leafs with a hand injury. Blocker side injury. There's a glove side save. And we watched the warm-up today, Bob and Greg. Not many players in Ottawa shot at his blocker. Almost to a man, they went glove side. I think the Leafs should change their philosophy.
According to that move, what a great glove stop by Craig Anderson. You know he's got to feel a little bit rusty, but he got back into the game, and he said today, I think I'll be okay once I make a stop or two. Looks like he's okay.
Yeah, let's show some video evidence here. not many shots to the blocker side. Through warm-up, a lot to the glove side, making him feel comfortable. They understand that they don't want to have this guy go down, because if they need a third goalie, it's Rick Wamsley. I don't think there's equipment that would fit him. We've seen that quite a bit today. Bob Asenza had to go in and back.
Cleared out in front of the net. The Leafs try to get a shot. Perry went to the boards to pick it up. Now it's slapped back to him. It bounced away from him, but the Leafs stay in there on the attack. Onyx circled around, made sure the puck stayed deep. Now it's cleared out, and Sill was back, turning near center ice. It's scrappy at the moment, dumped off the boards and down the ice. Ottawa's changing as the Leafs are deep in their own zone. We've hit 3 minutes in the first period. And the shots are one apiece. And they were pretty good scoring chances. But there's no score in the game yet. Sens move up. Nice move through center by Turris. Dropped it back. Good chance here. Low shot is wide of the net. It'll come all the way out near center ice. Stone got back to pick it up. Far side, shot in deep again. Reimer covered the puck. Kept it nice and steady. Kessel can't get it out very far. And again, they tried on this side, led by Gardner. He got it ahead. Van Riemsdyk, the center, lifts a high one in, wide of the Ottawa net. Mark Stone was back there to help out. Played again at the line and stopped once more by Gardner. Now he chases Turris, couldn't stop him. Good chance for Stone. Nice save again by Reimer. Glove hands at both ends by both goaltenders, and great stops.
Well, Glenn showed you Carlson jumping up into the play, and Dave Cameron really emphasized to get his defense active since taking over. And look at how they pitch down the boards. You will see a lot of this tonight for the Ottawa Senator defense, as they love to just climb down the boards and hem teams in the offensive zone.
Leafs win the faceoff. Tip behind the net, and a penalty coming up to Ottawa. This will be the first of the game. As Phaneuf had his stick knocked out of his hands.
Bobby Ryan going to the penalty box, and a harmless looking play. And right off the draw, Phaneuf goes behind the net with the puck. And the end result is a Bobby Ryan slash to the stick, and the Leafs get their first power play of the hockey game.
Maple Leafs power play, 22nd in the National Hockey League. However, here at home, it's a bit better than that. The 11th spot is theirs. First power play of the game. Riley moved up, got a first shot away off the stick and wide of the net, and the Sens cleared out. Phaneuf took his man hard, and that might draw a crowd for Phaneuf to handle. He can do it. Stays on the ice and circles back inside his own line. The Leafs try to get something going now with Riley carrying in. Back to Phaneuf, off his stick and out. Phaneuf had one hand on the stick and didn't handle that pass. All the way back in his own zone, he circles. Comes away with a decent play up the center ice. Van Riemsdyk couldn't get very far. Knocked down by Bozak. Up over the Ottawa line. Bozak coming in. He's bumped a little bit by Borowiecki. Kept him outside. Leafs keep it in, though, to the line. Phaneuf's shot. And wide of the net. Kessel picks it up. Back to the line again. Back to Kessel. 3 passes in a row. No shot yet. Phaneuf is in there. He centered it. That's going to be cleared by the Ottawa Senators. Mark Stone skated up with it and left it right there. Pretty good chance for leg one. He missed the net far side, and Stone missed the puck. Comes back to center. Dumped in from a distance. Both teams changing. No score in this first period. That is Lupul getting the zone all right, but he took a bump going in after the puck. Kadri tried to play it back. Sens break it up. They're going to clear it. Pajot was up there after it. He's going to get to it too. Pajot giving a bump back there, though, and couldn't get the puck. Back out for Toronto. Played ahead by Lidstrom. And in deep. Dump it down the ice. Penalty almost done. Ryan ready to come back on, and here he is. Kill it off and allow a shot on goal. Shot in deep, and the Sens regroup. Zibanejad played it back. Carlson put it back the other way again. Giveaway inside that line, but Carlson was there to get the puck and play it off the boards and down inside the Maple Leaf blue line. Carlson and Komarov are having something going near center ice. Pushing and shoving, nothing developed. No score in this first period. CBC proud to present Hockey Night in Canada from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto.
The captains are involved tonight. Every hit you'll get a chance to see, but from ice level, this is what I feel. That's a hit you could feel. And Pajot, I love the fact he stood up to Phaneuf after. That shows a lot of jam. Let's go to the other captain. Komarov, he's the pain in the neck for everybody. Loves to be a human pinata for a lot of teams. But Carlson, he's not putting up with it either. He likes the stick, the glove, everything out of his hand. Good compete from both teams.
Kadri is on again for the Maple Leafs. He's playing with Booth and Lidstrom now. They switch the lines around a little bit in the early going of this first period. There's no score. We're coming up to the 7-minute mark of period 1 in Toronto. David Booth got the zone by shooting it in, and Trevor Smith comes after it. Quick changing by the Maple Leafs, and they circled inside that Ottawa blue line. No shot coming yet. Here's one, very weak though, and wide of the net. Smith got the rebound and couldn't put it on the net. Gardner backed it up a little bit, gave it to Riley, and he couldn't get very far. Gardner had to get over in front again, stopping Condra from getting a chance, coming in for the Ottawa Senators. Stepping up the thought. Got near the net too, but he couldn't make the pass over in front. Cleared away. Lidstrom got it to the line, bumped a little bit, left it right there again for Gardner, and he shot it over the line. In there, Carey centered it. Nothing doing. The Sens are all back and covering up. Played hard on the boards by Pajot, and that puck got out to center. Pajot was late coming up. He nearly picked it off again near his own blue line. Lazar is knocked down before getting a chance to go for it. Sens had to get back. Pajot was there again. Backhanded the puck off the boards to center. Condra swept the pass over on this right wing, and the shot is right on from Cody Ceci. Reimer watching the play carefully and stopped that. Maple Leafs the other way. Coming in as Panik. Didn't get too far inside the line. The other way for Ottawa as they go end to end now. Quick shot is stopped in front of the goalie and cleared behind the net by T.J. Brennan. He fell. Puck is still in there deep behind the goal. Legrom couldn't pick it up. Got to the far side again. The Maple Leafs running around a little bit in their own zone now, and Ottawa's getting stronger. Ceci gets a shot right on, and Reimer saw that and hangs on.
Tuesday night, it's a new episode of the hit comedy Schitt's Creek, starring Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. Tuesday at 9 on CBC. Bob?
Okay, Cassie, we have no score yet in this hockey game, nearing 9 minutes. Face off in the Leaf zone. Shots are 5 by Ottawa and only 1 by the Maple Leafs. And that was a dandy. Good glove save by Craig Anderson. Hoffman steams in over the line, put on the brakes. Threw a high one over in front of the Leaf net. Nobody knocked that down. From the blue line, the shot fired wide by Greiba. Comes off the boards, the Maple Leafs on it. Brewer had a chance to clear, and he did get it out to center ice. Greiba picks it up, comes on again for Ottawa, got the pass ahead. Zibanejad is stopped at the blue line. And the Maple Leafs have to come back to cover up. Forechecking is Bobby Ryan, always dangerous. But the Leafs get away from him and get it out to Van Riemsdyk, and he put it inside the line. Sends all back. Nice play comes to Turris. Didn't get too far near center ice, though. And the Maple Leafs attack. Lupul played it over in front, and the shot from a sharp angle by Kadri hit the side of the net. Ottawa the other way. Turris tried to drop it back. It didn't work. Got near the line. Nobody could click on that second pass, and MacArthur turned around. Shot it to the corner. Turris is in there, taken out of the play. And again, Mark Stone lost it. So Ottawa getting inside the line, trying to get a pass away, but the Leafs are covering pretty well. Look out for Carlson, though. He got in and had to spin around and try to make a play. Couldn't do it. Gardner turns around a little bit and got the pass ahead to Kadri. Up over that line he goes. Kadri waited and then shot it in. Nobody up there with him. David Booth catches up. Too late to make a play, and the Sens have control. Play comes on this right side and through center, the defenseman Ceci. Put the shot on Reimer. He's going to hang on to it. The Leafs and the Sens in Toronto tonight on Hockey Night in Canada.
Well, there was atmosphere at practice yesterday amongst the Maple Leafs, and as these wonderful pictures roll, we start to see a little bit of intensity and jam from the Leafs, but this building has not been very competitive at all for a long period of time, and I wonder, as a visitor, you come in to play the Leafs, the fans know they're done, it is dead at ice level. Millsy, 165 feet away, what do you see and hear?
A very similar atmosphere, Glenn, up here as well, and the Senators have to find some energy. A big game for them, obviously.
Boston winning today, I'll say. Last wild card spot. Boston's in that position now. The Sens are 2 out.
And for the Ottawa Senators, however, they did not play well defensively against the New York Rangers at home a couple of nights ago. A very cautious start for them. You almost sense that they're making sure that they're playing a solid defensive game, knowing that they're going to get some offensive chances off breakdowns from the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Pagel on the face-off wins it back to the line for Ceci. Shot it in there. That's Lazar with the puck, centered it. But Booth stepped up there and intercepted that second pass. On the far side, Lindstrom brought it in on goal. Can't get the shot. Gonna be a penalty coming though. They're going to call a penalty shot. The referee pointed to center right away, and that's what's going to happen, folks. Maybe get the first goal of the game.
So Anderson hasn't played forever. He's had one shot, a good glove save, and his second shot is going to be a penalty shot. There's a real nice move coming down the boards here. Draws the penalty shot as Weir Kosh looks on a little too heavily.
If that's the definition of a penalty shot, then I missed the memo.
Lidstrom, number 15 for the Maple Leafs, is going to take the penalty shot. The crowd is finally making some noise here at the Air Canada Center. Look out! Can't score on Anderson. He stayed with him. Lidstrom did everything. Looked like he was going to shoot for a moment. Might have been the right thing to do, but he tried all those moves and nothing worked.
How big a rally point might this be for the Ottawa Senators? Your number one goalie's been hurt. You've had a kid come out of nowhere and completely lead your team in net. And now he gets hurt, and your number one guy comes back, and his second shot of the game, he stops a penalty shot on a beautiful move, showing great patience. This will be interesting to see if this is a momentum builder for the Ottawa Senators.
Kadri is on again for the Maple Leafs to take the face-off and win it. Right back to the blue line for Gardner. Shot it into the side of the net. Komarov tried to pick it up and does. Being hounded though, got it ahead. Kadri centered it. No shot coming from the other side. Kadri made a good play, first winning the face-off and then making that pass. Race for the puck down the ice. Maple Leafs. Gardner got back. Komarov had to wait outside the blue line. Would have been an offside play. Gardner steps up to center. Takes the shot in from there. It's wide of the goal. And on it quickly for Ottawa. Legwand and got the puck out and down the ice. Eric Brewer. Phaneuf is the other defenseman for the Maple Leafs. Now they start. Bozak, Kessel, and Van Riemsdyk. Broken up, and Bobby Ryan nearly got in for a shot. Ottawa back to regroup. Played on the boards by Borowiecki. Comes right to the net at the Maple Leaf end. And Reimer cleared it to the corner. Leafs get it ahead a little bit. Played by Bozak to center ice, and here's Phaneuf coming up. Gets the puck in over the line, okay. Couldn't get in position for a shot. Kessel backing up near his own blue line against Zibanejad. And there's Kessel after the puck. He knew the hit was coming. Indeed, it did come, and he lost a chance. Back there's Gryba. Left it for Hoffman. Shot it behind the net. Gryba lost it a second time. Kessel for the Maple Leafs was in there. The puck is loose. Zibanejad picks it up for Ottawa. He'll skate away to the line, and it's knocked down at center ice by Bozak. Trying to get it himself, and did. Made a play over in front. Well, that's picked up and cleared out and down the ice. Hoffman headed off on a change. 6:45 remaining in the first period. No score in the game. Penalty shot a moment ago by Lidstrom. And Craig Anderson was splendid. Anderson covers up this time and hangs on to it.
Lindstrom's last goal was March 23rd against the Ottawa Senators. That was then, and this is now. And when you get a save like that, your defenseman Weirkoch, who committed the felony, says, well, I won't say what he said. You read his lips. Carry on, Bob.
Okay. Okay, Glenn, you're too close to the action there.
It's a good thing you didn't.
I just want to stay on TV for at least another hour.
David Booth is going to try to win this face-off against Turris. Can't do it. But he goes in to pick up the loose puck in the corner. Booth, Turris all over him. Booth stays with it, comes out in front, nearly got in position for a shot. Senators are out though. Turning back at the line is MacArthur. He'll have to give it up back there, as Lidstrom was in forechecking, very close to him. Now then, the shoot-in comes from center ice. In steps Mark Stone, lost a chance to move it in front of the net. And it's cleared out by Trevor Smith. Here comes David Booth. Gets a shot on the goal. Short side save by Craig Anderson. Leafs keep it in. Shot around the boards by Lidstrom again. He's getting close to setting something up here, but that was a giveaway pass, that one. And Stone nearly got away. It's the weight at center ice. Shoots it into the ship for him. And he's headed off. Reimer, the goalie, played it ahead, hoping the Leafs can pick it up and get out, and they don't. Shot in deep by Erik Karlsson of Ottawa. At the blue line, Karlsson again takes a pass. Shot blocked. Gets down the ice, and he has to get back quickly. Zach Sill was right behind him. 5:16 left to play in the first. No score. Few hits. Not many shots. 6-2 of the shots, Ottawa. Sens get the puck down the ice okay, but Lazar won't catch up to that. TJ Brennan took over, slipped it behind the net. Lead pass to center ice, and that was grabbed by Gryba. At his own line and coming on. Dumped it up over the Leaf line. That's broken up, and they just keep chopping it back and forth at each other. Millen standing next to me here in the booth, shaking his head. Look out, here's a chance. Someone is fired wide. Not a lot of action around the nets. The way they set up at both ends. Shots are 7-2 in that last one. Ottawa, and the score is 0-0. 4:20 left, period one. On a Saturday night in Toronto, the Senators trying to get that last playoff position. Behind that net again, Lupul can't center it. Komarov after it, did get the puck, centered it. Phaneuf was coming in too, but was through his skates. Sens stopped near center ice. Bobby Ryan trying to regroup. Now he's coming in after Eric Brewer. Kadri got away. Dangerous pass though, over in front. Lead player knocked down. Brewer, play goes right on. He gave it to Phaneuf when he got up. And then down across the line, Van Riemsdyk put a pass over in front. That didn't work. Mark Stone got it out. Here's Turris coming in for Ottawa. Takes a look. Shot wide of the net, hoping for the rebound. It did come, and the Leafs recovering. And Van Riemsdyk shot it to center ice. Laid over by Bozak. Shot is stopped. Anderson covering the angle on the post that time to stop the short side shot. Kessel got in close. No dice there. And Ceci comes out for Ottawa. When he gets to center, he shoots it in. They're all on side with 3 minutes remaining in the first period. And Riemsdyk. Long pass to nobody in particular. So back and forth they go. And back in for Condra. Tied up along the boards, but Lazar kept going. Couldn't get to the puck. It'll be Van Riemsdyk who lifted high. The puck bounces down across the Ottawa line. Lidstrom was up too, but it bounced away from him. Now he stays in on the forecheck, going in against Mathot. He gave it to Carlson, and Carlson played it ahead to Lazar. Pass through the middle, Ottawa looking sharper now. They get over the line, but nobody can pick it up a second time. Might have been offside had they touched the puck in there. The play goes right on. It's given away in front of the net. Right in, Chiasson, and can't get in front for a second try. Knocked down behind the goal, had a good chance coming in. Long shot gets into him. He turns, waits, backed it up. He had Brennan watching his moving back and forth. And now Brennan gets the puck out for Toronto. Just missed David Booth with a long pass. Under 2 minutes left in the first period. Shots 8-4, Ottawa. No score. Look out here. Pass comes back in front of Hoffman. Intercepted by Brewer. Got a stick down at the right time. Perfect move. Ceci tries a long shot. That hit the goalie Reimer and went skimming off to the corner where it's picked up over there quickly by Zach Smith. He left it for Hoffman, turning around. No shot. Got over in front of the net, and the Leafs break it up. Brewer standing there, stopped that. And Komarov just missed it at center ice, and we're getting a stoppage as it's covered by Craig Anderson. From the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, you're watching Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
That's not a recording. We showed these two yesterday in practice with intensity. Well, first 3 shots of the hockey game for the Maple Leafs. Booth gets the first one. You can tell by the ice it's early on in the game. He gets the second one. The Leafs go about 13 minutes without a shot until Kessel gets that. The best shot of the hockey game was a penalty shot, and it doesn't even get recorded as a shot. Can you explain that one to me, Mr. Millen?
Nope.
Bozak comes to center ice for the Maple Leafs. He's against Pajot of Ottawa. Pajot tied him up, but the puck got loose. The Leafs have it. From the line, Gardner's shot came through a crowd. The goalie saw it. And Anderson made another fine stop with a stick. Van Riemsdyk gets loose on the far side. Gets a drive away. That bounced to the corner off a skate. Comes right back out, and it's going to be cleared by Sill. Down the ice. And Ottawa gets a chance. Lazar went in and couldn't pick up the puck. Played off the boards. Kept in by Carlson. He might get a shot here. Does, but it hit something and went wide of the net. Then Lazar stopped it, and there's Pajot. Centered the puck. Good play falling was Morgan Riley to stop that pass out. And then Bozak shot the puck high to center ice. 16 seconds remaining in the first period. Carlson takes a look at the clock. Made one pass, and Torres shot it in. From the corner, that's going to do it. Torres, one more pass, and that's off a stick and cleared back down the ice. Shots in the period, 9-7, Ottawa. Leafs, nothing. Ottawa, nothing. And here's George.
Welcome back to Toronto. Tuesday night, it's a new episode of the hit comedy Schitt's Creek, starring Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. Tuesday at 9 on CBC. Let's go upstairs to Mr. Bob Cole.
Okay, Cassie, and here we go with Pajot in after the puck right off the bat. Ottawa trying to get charged up to start this second period. First period rather listless. There's one penalty called, one penalty shot. Not very many great scoring chances. Pajot is trying to create one here, trying to center the puck. And the Leafs get a hold of it and clear it ahead to the line. And it's flipped ahead a little deeper by Panic. Shot back out. The goalie comes out to play this one. Anderson takes a look. He saw two Leafs coming at him. Got rid of it. Pretty good play. Shot ahead off the boards by Lazar. Inside that Leaf line. Gardner was back. He left it for Bozak. And he lifted a high one down to center ice. That was knocked down by Mark Stone for the Senators. Got it ahead over the Leaf line. And again, a scrappy start to this period. Kessel takes a look around, then flipped a shot over in front of the net and right back to him. Put it on goal, too, with that hard wrister. Anderson stopped that. Big rebound set up. Another shot he kicked away. The Leafs get something going here. Drop near the line. Coming on hard is Riley. Centered it right through everybody on this near side. Kept in by the other defenseman, Gardner. Then the long shot is gloved by Craig Anderson, and he'll hang on.
Bob, you mentioned it, not many offensive chances, so you've got to draw them up. You got to be creative. Right off the opening draw, Pajot, Condra, they talk to each other. Draw happens, I'm going forward with it, and they nearly jump a 2-on-1.
And if you look at the Leafs' lack of scoring, these pictures will tell it all. Nobody in front of the net, outside chances, nobody going to the net, no traffic in front.
Ceci takes the puck and rolled it ahead, but the Leafs keep it in. Lupul was there to stop it a second time. Laid it on the boards. Lupul takes off for the front of the net. The pass was behind him. Enough came off the blue line. He nearly grabbed it. It's Brewer carrying on in around the net. Brewer looks out. He might go to the line with it, and he does, and then backed it up, shooting it behind that goal again. Leafs get around everywhere inside the blue line, but nobody could make a decent pass in front of the net. Bobby Ryan takes off, got the puck to center ice, that's all. Batted back inside the Ottawa blue line. Shot to center. Ryan was up waiting. He'll have to come in now and try and play it. The goalie stopped it for Toronto. Reimer just dropped it there, and it's cleared on the boards by Kadri and down the ice. No icing, that was waved off. Somebody touched it near center. Still no score in the game, and we're nearing 3 minutes of play in the second period. Backing up was Mathot. Ottawa trying to get it going. It's shot in by David Legwand. Wide of the net, came right out to Kadri, and he just allowed it to hit a skate. Goes in and tries to pick it up. Got a little help from Lidstrom. And down the ice he goes. On with the brakes and fell. It'll be stopped inside the line by Brennan. Shot right to the goalie. And Anderson hangs on to this with the crowd gathering.
Well, perfect timing for Anderson to come back off injury tonight for the Ottawa Senators, because Andrew Hammond, who's been playing so much and is so run down at the moment and banged up a little bit, is not even dressed and on the bench here tonight. And part of it is because of Monday, when Couture went to the net with a little bit of authority, and Hammond seemed to be favoring his back against the New York Rangers throughout the game, and was not anywhere near 100% in his last start. Didn't finish the game, for that matter.
Dave Cameron, the coach for Ottawa, told me this morning that he figures it's time for him to take a day off anyway. A complete day off. Not in the backup role tonight either. No score in the game here. Nearing 4 minutes of the second period. The Sens get control near center. In over the line, and here's Condra ready. No shot. Comes from the other side. Big rebound off the boards. Shot from the line. Fired in by Borowiecki, was wide of the net. Condra takes his pass. Turns around in his own zone. He sees Pajot up there and gave it to him. Pajot tries to go in and did get in. Got over in front of the net. Was bumped and lost the puck. Back to the net. It's centered again. And the defenseman up was Mathot to take a shot. Reimer stopped that. The Leafs get a hold of the puck, and it'll be played out by Morgan Riley. He'll skate the center with it. Keep going. He sees an opening to keep going, and he does. Couldn't get the shot. It was poked away at the last second. MacArthur brings it on for Ottawa. Just barely got outside his own line. Up to Stone. Hit a skate. Got it under control, and here they are. MacArthur coming in. Ready for the shot. No shot. There's a goal. Scored by Mark Stone took the pass, and MacArthur fooled everybody, including the goalie. And Stone had the, you might say, open net. 1-0 Ottawa.
Gardner skates into trouble with the puck, and when he does that, he steps up and doesn't get the puck. That creates a 3-on-2 down low, and then Stone, who has just an unbelievable release, won't miss many from this area on a nice feed from Kirk MacArthur to give the Ottawa Senators the first goal of the hockey game, again against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
So finally a goal in the game before we hit the 5-minute mark of the second period. Ottawa on the board. Little backhander is stopped by Reimer. Leafs play it ahead, and they get going. Down comes Kadri. Elected to pass. That was intercepted. Kadri kept it in 4-foot, and his shot is stopped by Craig Anderson. It was right to the goalie, but it kept coming, and now he and Mathot have words. Stone's 19th goal from MacArthur and Turris. MacArthur made the great play at 4:25.
Well, it just goes to show you, Bob and Greg, the development of the young players for the Ottawa Senators. You think of Hoffman's 26 goals, and you think of Stone's 18. Now that's 19. That's 12 more goals than any other dynamic rookie duo in the NHL. And that from the net cam, you see Reimer, he's moving before the shot comes. He's guessing. He guessed wrong.
Great play by MacArthur to come in, though. He knew Stone was coming behind him. Now a break. Down the ice it goes. And after it is Smith. He's stopped. Smith breaking away with that great speed. And he's stopped by James Reimer.
I mean, Phaneuf and Brewer on the blue line, this just can't happen. A breakaway off a draw from your own zone, and Zach Smith is just gone. Here's the scrub, no problem, and he just takes off through the middle. It just completely beats Brewer and Phaneuf, and the Leafs are fortunate that it's not a natural goal scorer going one-on-one against James Reimer.
You think about the game against Florida, they hadn't even announced the first goal, and the second one had gone in. And that would be the night for the Maple Leafs if that one goes in.
Leafs on the attack again, and the quick shot fired by Kadri, and come back in front of the net off the boards, and Anderson comes up with a decent pad save. Third back out to center, and Riley backed up inside his own line. Gardner, swift skating defenseman, comes in over the line, turning around, gets a shot away. That was deflected and wide to the Ottawa net. Sens clear the zone. Up near center ice, it was played in deep by Zach Smith, and that line is changing for the Senators. The long lead pass didn't work for Toronto. Booth was up there. Puck shot in okay, and Dryden, first one back. Swept back, however, by Panik. Ottawa sending 3 away. Right in front, score! Quick shot right in front of the net by Lazar. And just like that, it's 2-0 Ottawa.
You called it, Glenn. I mean, all of a sudden they get one, and they get a basketball. And a harmless-looking play coming out of the zone turns into a 3-on-2. And Lazar just goes right to the net, and he's left all alone on the play. There's Trevor Smith beside him, lets him go, and Lazar just redirects this puck here into the net.
A lot has made about Hammond, the goaltender, the resurgence of this Ottawa team. That was dead and done a month ago. I like this third line more than anything. Pajot in the minors to start, Condra a healthy scratch, Lazar young and not playing. And now they're a 3-line deep team.
Yeah, check that. It was Brennan, the defenseman there, who just let him go right to the net.
Ottawa comes up with another attack by the looks of it. Turris is in the corner, bats the puck loose for Stone. Stone hangs on, rolled it over in front of the net. It was deflected there, really, and cleared out by Bozak. He got it up as far as center ice. Kessel jumps on it, brings it over the line, comes in. The second pass up to him was too high to knock down, and Turris picks it up for Ottawa. Didn't get too far. Stone grabbed the puck, shot it down the ice. He nearly hit MacArthur with a long pass. On MacArthur is bumping and getting the puck loose. Played it back in front, but it's intercepted and carried out by Lupul. He'll fire a hard shot right on. And Anderson stopped that. MacArthur brings it on. Played the puck up over the line, hoping to hit Ryan. He didn't do it. He's in, and he's offside. Lazar's 6 from Peugeot and Condra. It's 2-0 now. Ottawa leads.
Here's how you build your team to the draft. Hoffman, 130th overall. What a year he's had. 178th overall for Stone. Now we just saw Lazar goal. He's a first-round pick, and that's how you do it. You look at the first-round picks. There are 18 draft picks in the lineup for the Ottawa Senators, 5 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Every time at the draft, you get 7 chances to make your team better. Draft the right guys.
And draft character and good people. And Brian Murray and his staff have done a wonderful job doing that.
So 2-0 Ottawa leads. 2 goals, 134 apart. Here in the second period, first Stone, Lazar, and 2-0. Leafs get close. Nobody can quite control the puck in front of the net, though. Anderson was down just in case. The other way for Ottawa again. That hard shot by Ryan was deflected wide of the net. Moving up was Zibanejad. It's kept in at the blue line, and over there is Brewer for the Maple Leafs. He didn't play it. Komarov does, and left it for Phaneuf. He dropped it to Brewer. So they don't move forward right away. 2 forecheckers in for Ottawa, too. The goalie Anderson decides he'll hang on to this, with David Booth coming in. 2-0.
Stay tuned later tonight as we announce the top 2 finalists for Kraft Hockeyville 2015. Brought to you by Maxwell House Coffee.
Stone's 19th and Lazar's 6th. The goal scorers for Ottawa. Face off is to the right of Craig Anderson. That's Weirkosh with the puck. Played it ahead to the blue line, didn't connect. The other pass headed for Zach Smith, didn't quite work. Leafs keep it in. Long shot is gloved by Anderson, and he hangs on.
Well, James Reimer was yanked against the Ottawa Senators the last time these 2 teams met last Saturday, and the characteristic of all these goals, high shots, as Reimer goes down a little bit early, albeit all in good shooting positions. Tonight, certainly the Senators again trying to go to the top half of the net. A broken play there, mind you, on Lazar. I don't think he was trying to do that, but still it was effective.
And again, they'll do it to the right of the goal. Craig Anderson hanging on once more.
It's tough to be a goalie on a bad team, and Glenn, you and I know that oh too well. It's not as predictable as a team that has a good system of play and is a little more predictable in front of you. It's a difficult thing to do.
Leafs win the draw from the blue line. Eriksson elects not to shoot it. Then the shot comes and away wide of the net, off the boards and out and down the ice. Tim Eriksson back for the Leafs, got it ahead. First pass didn't quite work. Dumped on the boards by Smith in deep. And again, Anderson out of the net. Back there was Condra. He missed the puck. He stays in there trying to get it off the boards. Lidstrom for the Maple Leafs, giving him all the trouble he can handle. Played down for Peugeot. That's too far for him. No icing goal. Peugeot in, had a stick tied up and couldn't make a pass. It's kept in by Condra. Shoots it wide of the net. Crowd trying to get this Leaf team going. They've been rather quiet tonight throughout so far. And we're almost to the halfway mark of the second period. We'll hit that 40 seconds from now. Back out for Ottawa. They're flying defenseman Carlson. Got it up and dumped it in. It is wide of the net, and the Leafs had lots of time to move back and get the puck under control and get it out of the zone. They don't do it cleanly, and Stone stole it, brought it back in. Made a couple of dandy moves to get that shot away. Deflected on the stick of Reimer and out of play.
Lots of question marks. What do the Leafs do in goal? Does this guy get traded? Bernier come back. Well, here's one guy that you could potentially look at. 6'5", Matt O'Connor, Boston University Terriers, undrafted, free agent. Everybody's looking at him because he's that good. He's big, he's athletic, and he's got great feet and great instincts. In fact, he was actually part of a prospects camp for Ottawa. They didn't sign him. He's free for anybody. That might be someone the Leafs would look at for next season. Give him a 2-year deal. He'll burn one this year, but you've got a goalie that's the real deal.
Well, 10 other teams lining up there.
Look out. The shot by Kadri is off a stick and blocked. The Leafs had a pair of chances on this shift. Nothing doing. That looked like a goal. Kadri again. Can't get a second shot. Put it in deep and chased it. The Senators get a hold of it and get it out of the zone, and there's Bobby Ryan. Bringing it back in, a little backhand pass. Tried to hit Zibanejad with it. Ryan comes in, takes a hit, got the puck in front, and a quick shot is fired wide of the goal. And it'll be cleared out and down the ice. Hoffman came in behind the play that time and got a good chance. Here he is taking the pass. Dumped it in over the Leaf line. Toronto turning it back out. A quick pass is down the ice from Carrick. They get it deep, and Carrick is in on it. Knocked down back there. Leafs keep it in, though, from the blue line. Brennan's shot is off a stick, away wide of the net. Panik tried to pick it up. He's over in front of the goal, now has the puck. Backs it up to the corner. Getting loose is Sill. Zach Sill went after it, got it back to the blue line. The shot high and wide of the net. Leafs control the puck again, though. Turning and shooting was Lupul. That was on, or rather, Panik, and that was on, and the goalie, Anderson, put it out of play with his stick. 2-0, Ottawa leads here in the second period.
Welcome back to Toronto, and I'm absolutely honored to be with Garrett Gamble Jr. and Garrett Gamble Sr., who through the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Toronto Maple Leafs have had an experience of a lifetime. And Garrett, what has this meant to you? I mean, he just really wanted to drop the puck, and you've had really just an unbelievable experience.
This was one of the greatest experiences my son is ever going to have in his life. I'm very happy to be honored to be here with everybody that's here, and just give a shout out to everybody that's out in Duck Lake and Beardy's Nukmats First Nation. Stay strong, everybody. We're gonna come home soon, but this is one of the best experiences my son's ever had, and thank you.
Maybe your favorite moment from these last couple of days?
My favorite moment was just being here and taking it all in with my son. He's one of the most specialist times out of his whole entire life, so that's good.
Well, thanks for being here, and thanks for being on with us. And Bob, I know you had a chance to meet Garrett Jr. this morning.
I did, and he came up to visit us in the booth tonight. When we went to a commercial break, we had a great chat, and he was clutching the puck that he dropped at center ice. Fine young man, and having a delightful time with his heroes from the Maple Leafs. George has an update for us. George?
Thank you very much, Bob. Okay, to Montreal we go. Panthers and the Habs. It's 1-0 Montreal when Alexander Barkov takes a feed from Hubert Owen Jäger. He scored. It's tied at 1. Back to you, sir.
Well, that was a meeting we had this morning with Garrett. And as I mentioned, he was here in the booth an hour or so ago. And his Maple Leafs are coming close, but they can't get a goal here. They're down 2-0 with 8 minutes left to play in the second period. TJ Brennan has to hurry back. 2 Ottawa Senators are on him. Knocked loose by Condra. Trying to center back to the line. The thought couldn't get a shot. And here's a scrap started. Pajot, he's the smaller of the two now with TJ Brennan. And he got a few whips in there.
Well, Brennan didn't like the hit into the boards by Pajot. They had a little chat. And a lightweight bout occurred.
So they are serious.
Here's the play there. And immediately Brennan got up a little bit hot.
Rather, you're witnessing the very first fight for Pajot in the National Hockey League. I just love his jam now. Do you remember when he played against the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs? He was going at the Boston Bruins in the playoffs. fearless. Well, he's brought that jam back, and that's one of the reasons he's staying in the National Hockey League.
He has 14 points for the Senators in his 42 games. This one being his 42nd. 6 goals. And you're right. He has been a feisty hockey player. Ottawa trying to bid for the 3rd goal. Was Carlson from the blue line. He keeps it onside. Dumped it over in front of the high slot. It's deflected and wide of the net as Zibanejad had a chance to drive it in. Ottawa leads 2-0. Looking for more damage. Chiasson looks at the puck high and knocked it down, but it was deflected out of play, and that will bring about a face-off in the zone.
Wednesday night, the agents struggle with assassination orders. Don't miss X Company Wednesday at 9 on CBC.
Stone got his 19th of the season from MacArthur and Turris at 4:25, and Lazar got a 6th from Pajot and Condra at 5:59. 2 quick goals by Ottawa, and they lead by that number, 2-0. Wirkosh dumps the puck in around the net. Turris was in there, but he couldn't knock it down. Now he has it, and he just shot it behind the goal. Mark Stone coming in. He's all tied up, but he got loose enough to get a pass away to Turris. He centered it. That'll bounce to the high slot and cleared away by Lidstrom, but not out. So Kadri comes back in his own zone, escapes one hit, gets it near the line, but it's kept in by Ottawa. And finally, the Leafs get it back out to the center ice area. 6:45 left in the period. Wirkosh just the shot into the boards in the corner. Coming back to pick it up was Nazem Kadri. Lost it. Ottawa keeps attacking. It came right to Lidstrom before anybody could get a shot. And then he played it away. It's still not outside the line. Now it will be cleared. Dumped on the boards by Riley into center. Just as quickly slapped back in by the Ottawa Senators. So the Sens have picked up their pace, no doubt, here in the second period. The Leafs cruising along. They have a total of 19 shots. The Senators only 17, but 2 of them goals. And 6 minutes left to play. Second period, Greiba takes over. Lifts a high one down the ice. And will that go for icing? No, they wave it off, saying the Leaf player, Eriksson, could have gotten to the puck. Dumped ahead, and the Leafs bring it on. Sill's shot. He had the goalie moving the other way, too, but he missed the net by a foot. Backed up behind the net. For Zach Sill. Gets out in front with a little backhander that's stopped by Anderson. He covers up again. From the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, you're watching Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Well, we've certainly witnessed Stone's great release, but Mark also is wonderful at knocking pucks out of the air. He uses a real wide blade, and by doing that, it really is effective. And there's an example. He just is leading the team in takeaways, and the Ottawa Senator coaching staff love the way he does it. Look at the width at the end of his blade, and I've watched a lot of good players that have that art use that wide blade.
It's also the longest stick. Here's the stick rack, and Mount Everest climbing over the top is Mr. Stone's sticks. So he's got the big shot, he's got the wide blade, he's got the complete package.
Ottawa attacking right across the line, and the high shot by Lazar, unfortunately, goes out of play over the glass.
Let's take a look at our Budweiser red light scoreboard. A lot of afternoon games, but here's what we got so far. 1-1 Montreal tied with Florida. LA down 2-0. Minnesota beat Calgary last night. They're playing back-to-back. But the big one for this game is the afternoon game. 4-2. Boston beat the New York Rangers and now find themselves in a playoff spot. Bob.
Leaves control on this face-off. Kassian get it down the ice for Kessel. Can't get in to get a backhander away. Played it to the line, though. No shot coming from Brewer. Stick broken. Leafs keep coming. Kessel centered it. Shot fired in hard by Van Riemsdyk. Didn't quite get through in Ottawa. This will get the puck out of the zone. Down across the line is Condra. Shot the pass over for Leguan. He backed it up for Condra, who went in behind the net against Phaneuf. Puck comes loose and Brewer takes it. He slapped it on the glass and got it out. Weirkosh was waiting. Played it back up and Ottawa keeps attacking. Played in by Mark Stone. In front of the net to pass. Off the skate of Ceci, who came in from the line all alone. Here's Weirkosh. Weirkosh steps up, keeps going, centered it. Scramble in front, ready is Turris. The shot right to Reimer. And he'll smother this one. No rebound. Somebody came a little too close and Phaneuf gave him a shot. That drew a crowd. And Riemsdyk now and Weirkosh, who came in from the line. They settle it down.
Quite an experience in the building for Garrett Gamble. We saw him sign a one-day contract. What an experience of a lifetime. Well, everybody that comes to this building is magical on hockey night, on a Saturday night. And there's Borowiecki, an Ottawa guy, classy as can be, calls another young fan over. And there's the puck. He'll remember that for a long, long time, as will Garrett Gamble.
And they tell me, Glenn, that in the locker room he has been an inspirational leader for this entire team throughout the season. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
And they tell me in all the other locker rooms they can't stand him because he hits everything with boots.
Exactly.
So, tale of two cities.
Again, the puck is out of play.
Wednesday night, the agents struggle with assassination orders. Don't miss X Company Wednesday at 9 on CBC.
Face-off this time is outside the Maple Leaf blue line. Zibanejad wins the draw. It's driven in by Greiva. The Leafs are all back and away they go. Down across the line, played in deep. This shot coming from the far side, moving up. Gardner centered it right in front of the net. Down was Anderson to make a pad save. Zibanejad brings it on. Dumped it in on goal. Reimer steered that away. Zibanejad read it and got into the corner on that side. Getting a little bit of help. And right in front of Zibanejad. And he can't beat Reimer. Zibanejad all of a sudden cut in front of the net. And there was the puck. But the Leafs finally hang on and get going. Gardner slow to move it out. The pass down the ice. Hit his man, but he couldn't move on it. Hopping in for Ottawa. Nice setup, but the pass a bit too hard. Didn't knock it down. Kept in by the defenseman up on the play, Mark Methot. All the way back to the blue line with that shot off the boards. Slapped in around the net by Zach Smith. And again, the Leafs tap it with a high stick, maybe down the ice. The play will continue as Ottawa will recover the puck. And Karlsson is on it. Here's Methot. Back to Karlsson. Now he wants to skate. Gives it to Hoffman coming over the line. Hoffman stopped, threw it up behind the Leaf net on the other side. It is centered to nobody in particular, and the Leafs failed to clear it out of the zone when they had the chance. Condra on it quickly against Dion Phaneuf along the boards. And finally sent back deep by Trevor Smith, and they get it out to center ice. But nobody could get going on any pass down that way. Zibanejad tucked it out. That was a neat pass by Zibanejad. He got in over the line. Lazar was bumped in there and stopped in his tracks. The Leafs get back, and it's Lidstrom who picked it up. Left it for Phaneuf. The captain rolled it behind the net to the other side. It's cleared out down to center ice. Long shot whipped in wide of the net. 1:55 left to play in the second period. Ottawa leads 2-0. The shots almost even now by Toronto 21 and by Ottawa 20 in the game. Leafs dump the puck to center ice. Offside. The call at the line, a little bit too far, was Panik.
Well, play coming out of the corner here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Lupul ends up with the puck on the half board. Now, I mean, that's just lack of concentration. A player of his caliber, a player that needs to help lead this team, can't have those kind of plays happen. There's attention to detail throughout the group. I know it's a little thing, but it's happened a lot throughout this lineup. And boy, oh boy, I mean, you got to be better than that. You have to be.
Toronto in the period is out shooting Ottawa 14-11. But Ottawa has the 2 goals, Stone and Lazar.
And Lupul's not alone, but it's a capsule of what is going on, Glenn.
Well, you showed a lack of execution. I'm going to show you a lack of effort. This 4 games with a suspension, 3 games with a club suspension. You just maybe want to show a little bit more effort. You blow in the zone. Ottawa's got the puck. You can't leave the zone. Ottawa nearly drafted Kadri. They wanted to take him. Actually, you look at the 2 general managers, Brian Burke, they never thought he would take a small player like Kadri. But they did. And as a result, Cowan was drafted by Brian and the Ottawa Senators.
Lidstrom's quick pass, rink wide, was for Gardner. And he made sure the puck got into the Ottawa zone deep. Just like that, they're swinging it back out. Torres gives it to MacArthur. Torres is coming in. The forechecker on the play, and the Leafs had a chance to clear it. Bumped on the boards and ahead to Booth. He got going across center over the line. Played it back for Lidstrom. Got loose into Booth. He fanned on it. Booth turns. Looks back in front. The pass is intercepted and brought out of the zone and cleared in over the line by Stone. That's all, though. Then Torres had to hook a high one. That's knocked down by Phaneuf. He got it up there for Kessel, who just came on. Kessel is stopped in there. Borowiecki. 35 seconds left in the period. Ottawa leads 2-0. Carlson just dumped it in, that's all. Stayed back at the blue line. Brewer shot it behind his own goal. It did spring loose out front, and Condra was knocked down right at the lip of the crease. Kessel is up on this play. A little more hitting going on now. The thought took Van Riemsdyk down with a shoulder hit. Cleared down the ice with 6 seconds remaining in the period. Ottawa on the attack was Lazar. Center the puck. The horn goes to win the period. Shots were 14-11 in favor of Toronto in the period. 21 apiece in the game. Ottawa 2 goals. Stone and Lazar lead 2-0.
Welcome back. The Sens lead by 2 after 2. Wednesday night, the stakes are high on Dragon's Den. Watch a new episode Wednesday at 8 on CBC. Now let's go upstairs to Mr. Bob Cole.
For period number 3 at the Air Canada Centre, a 2-0 Ottawa lead. And the Leafs get to start off this 3rd period by getting the puck over the Ottawa line, but it's not in very long. Down the ice for Condra. Over in front of the net, Lazar, chance. Knocked off his stick, it's in deep, and Brewer takes it behind his own goal, whipped it hard to the far side. The Leafs do get it out. Racing down was Sill, trying to catch up to the puck, and he does. Turns it back from the corner, waits for somebody to come in, has to backhand it away behind the net, kind of blindly, nobody was up with him, and the goalie saw the puck come out, and Anderson put his hand down on it and smothered that.
Well, after 25 years, Paul Dvorsky at the end of this year is going to call it quits. This is his very last game in Toronto. As a referee, you get to pick where your last game will be, and he is from Pittsburgh, so he has picked a game where Philadelphia will play Pittsburgh in Philadelphia, and he will hang it up. 25 great years, great referee. They actually brought the Russian rookie referee over to have him try a few games. Paul was the guy who did every game with him. He'll be missed.
You're darn right. Talked to him last year about this hockey league and how things have changed, the speed and all. And you know, he said, Bob, I think this is my final year coming up. It's just too quick for an old guy like me. Come on now. He's a great referee, you're right. Glenn, great guy to have in the game. I'm going to miss him. Offside at the Maple Leaf blue line.
He's going to like the extra beers that I put in the little ice chest for him for later, too, as well.
Well, just 2 goals in the hockey game, all in the 2nd period. The Ottawa Senators kind of sleeping in period 1, didn't have many chances, and then Stone gets right in the slot, and a beautiful shot And then right afterwards, very quickly afterwards, Lazar goes to the net on another 3-on-2 from the hash marks in and gives the Senators the 2-0 lead.
Brewer and Phaneuf together to get the puck up near the Ottawa blue line. No connection on the long pass. Lupul was in there and gets the puck. Comes back out front with it, takes his shot, hit a skate, went wide of the net. Zibanejad was in front and hit his skate. Down the ice and chopped in by Bobby Ryan. Leafs clear to the line, not out. Long shot is turned away by Reimer. Comes back near the line again. Zibanejad missed it. Now he has it and comes over the line. He's alone on this play and doing a pretty good job with it. Backhands the puck in deep around the net. Takes off to the bench. Leafs try to figure out a way to get together and get out of the zone. So they just shoot it out.
511 minutes for the Leafs have not had a lead. March 11th versus Buffalo in the first period. I would say instead of trying to get a lead, let's start with a goal and go from there.
Senators move it on. Legwong got it up over the line and left it for Smith. And his high shot is caught by Reimer.
Talked a lot about Mark Stone here this evening, and as we should, because he's been absolutely on fire since the All-Star break. Had a real solid year. He worked in Ottawa in the offseason on his conditioning. The knock on Stone in his draft year is he wasn't quite quick enough. But he is so smart. He makes up for that lack of speed, and certainly he's gained a step the last couple of years as a professional.
Ottawa almost has too many young guys that are really good. They're going to have to start trading some pieces.
There's Eriksson coming in and getting a shot on goal. Easy save for Anderson on the short side. And the Sens now leading 2-0. Just dump it out and down the ice. Conrad was up there, made contact. No icing. Fed in behind that Maple Leaf goal, and Tim Eriksson had to turn the other way with it. Shoot it around and then again. Booth waiting for it at the line. Not a good move, but it's going to be carried out to center ice by Brennan and over the line. Brennan poke-checked, got back to the puck and swept it in behind the net. David Booth missed it back there for Toronto. And coming up is Trevor Smith to help him. Booth gets loose, trying to get away, backed it up around the net, and Carlson read that play, got the puck ahead, but Gardner came in from the blue line and stabbed at it. It's kept in for Toronto. A quick shot is wide of the net. And after the puck was Trevor Smith. Doesn't get it. Gardner does from the blue line. No shot from him. He was covered too well and couldn't get a shot through, he figured. So gave it up. The Sens appear to be in a little trouble. Knocked down at the blue line, and the Leafs keep it in. 2-0 is the score, but 1 goal by Toronto. And look out in a brand new game for the finish in this third period. So Toronto will start up again with Jake Gardner. The play goes ahead. Fed in over the Ottawa blue line. Anderson comes out to play it. Anderson back in playing his first game quite a while and has been sharp tonight. Not a lot of times, mind you, but looking very steady and comfortable. Stopped the penalty shot. And Riemsdyk got in there and scored. We were talking about 1 goal. Well, there's the 1 goal. And now the tempers flare. So the character of this game is going to change just like that.
Well, a sloppy turnover right in front of the Toronto Maple Leaf blue line. And this big line for the Leafs sound asleep all night long, but they don't need much. We know that. And Kessel will start it off, and then Van Riemsdyk uses his speed for one of the few times all game long, and give Bozak credit. He goes to the net, and finally some net drive for the Maple Leafs, and they get rewarded for it. And then Greiva afterwards doesn't take too kindly to this goal.
Van Riemsdyk started to play off all right, cutting in along the boards. And Bozak had a hunch and took off for the net. There it was, number 20 for Bozak. Van Riemsdyk and Kessel assisting at 4:13 of the third. It's a 1-goal game. Bobby Ryan brings the puck over the Leaf line and in deep. Around the net he goes. Phaneuf couldn't stop him. The shot comes in from the defenseman Mathot, who moved up. And the Leafs cleared out and down the ice. Kadri tried to catch up to it and was bumped going after it. Mathot put a pass out. Zibanejad is away. Got to center. Stick handled up over the line. Tried to shoot it through the defenseman. Had it blocked. And Lupul turns back with it. Then put a high pass down the center. Booted ahead to Ryan. Ryan can't do much with it. Fans get going. Chanting for the Leafs to get going. Well, they've got a goal, and it's 2-1 now as Bozak scores here at 4:13 of the third. Ottawa getting the puck in deep. David Legwand was there. Hoffman also. Legwand gets the puck and brings it out along the boards. Lost it. Hoffman turned and whipped it up the net. Missed the goal. Sill was over there. Made short, got near the line, but not out. Now the Leafs will clear. Down to center ice they go. Riley brings it in, drops it back, and the shot right to Anderson as it was wristed in there. Right on the net by Panik. Anderson held.
Things aren't going well. Everything has to go right before you finally get a goal. And this should have been icing, if not for this subtle little tip by James Van Riemsdyk. Right at center, it gets waved off, no icing. And then later on, with a much better stick and a little bit more of a blade, he makes the great pass. Ottawa had numbers back. That's just a missed assignment. But when you're not going right, you've got to have all the stars aligned just to make it right for one to go in.
Sens now know they have been stunned. They'd better watch it. The Leafs have closed the lead. 2-1 is the score. Toronto coming on again. The pass gets up over the line, and Lidstrom was stopped trying to get deeper. Stays there fighting for it. It comes over here to David Booth. He rolled it up behind the net. The Leafs are attacking now. Out in front of the goal was Smith. Puck doesn't get to him right away. Now it does. Far side though in a stiff angle. And that was stopped by Anderson. Dumped behind the net. Leafs keep pressing. It'll be played off the boards at the far side near the line. Stepping up is Brewer. Coming in! And the shot deflected high over the net. Senators hang on, and Condra gets it out and down for Pajot. Condra was right behind him and tapped it loose. Condra chases the puck. It's cleared in front of him by Brewer to the line. Condra gets it again. That shot nowhere near the net. Over there on the far side, Turris can't center it. That was stopped by Eriksson. And the Leafs chop it out to center ice. Lidstrom, and he takes off to the bench along with his line mates. Carlson moving up. Good pass comes to Turris. Over the line and batted the puck in. He was spun around at the line though. Mark Stone picked it up and shot it behind the goal. Ottawa trying to battle back and get that 2-goal lead again. That's MacArthur getting the puck loose. But it went right where Bozak was waiting. He poked it ahead, not out, kept in. Stone pass right in front, tipped by MacArthur and up over the net. Then MacArthur is hit. Sure, he's hurt, but he's not moving too quickly, getting back to his knees. Jammed in on the boards. MacArthur back tonight for Ottawa. Shaken up, but thankfully he looks to be okay. And right here, the lead is cut to 2-1 as the Maple Leafs get a goal from Bozak. His 20th of the season. Here we go with a face-off deep in the Leaf zone. Zibanejad poked him right away in behind that goal line. Cleared out the center ice zone. The Leafs on the attack. Kessel dropped it back. Van Riemsdyk in on goal. Stopped by Anderson. A great save as he got the pad out on the short side and stopped that shot. Down the ice for Bobby Ryan. Got over the line and he passed in front of the net. No connection made by Mark Mathot, who came up on the play. It is centered. A little bit too far for Chiasson. It got outside the line. Now they have to tag up. They don't do it right away, and the play is stopped.
Well, Ottawa Senators throughout this game, it just feels like they haven't been able to deliver the knockout punch against the Leafs, and now the Leafs getting a little bit of life after their last goal. Van Riemsdyk with a back-to-back excellent shift, and that was a fine save by Anderson.
Well, this nearly was a knockout punch. Kessel makes his way 200 feet all the way back for a good back check. But at the very end, lets Mathot go. A player with a little bit more offensive skill on his resume would put that in the back of the net, and this would be lights out.
Brennan shoved the puck in for Toronto. Chasing in as Kadri. Went over there and took his man down. Played it again. Right in front of the net. Shot wide of the goal. Leafs are attacking somewhat now from the blue line. A shot comes through the crowd. Big rebound coming around the net. Kadri circles with it, brings it all the way back out. Stick handles all the way by himself. Now takes the shot. As a loose puck in front of that Ottawa net, cleared just in time, and there's no damage. Kadri is back to pick it up again. Played it high on the boards and shot it down the ice. Ottawa changing. So are the Maple Leafs. Coming up to the 9-minute mark of the third period. A long lead pass, doesn't get up over the Leaf line. It was stopped back there by Morgan Rielly. He was stopped near center ice. Ottawa knows now it's in a fight to the finish. Trying to get 2 points here tonight with Boston winning this afternoon and taking that last wild card spot. So Ottawa has to battle his way back. They're ahead, mind you, in the game, but only by a goal. And now the referee back deep has called a penalty late. Gonna be against Toronto.
Well, it's almost like 3 for a dollar. As there was a hit on MacArthur at one end, there was a hit on the half board to the left of Anderson that wasn't called, and then this one, perhaps they had enough. And here's the MacArthur one from behind. There was no call there. And then Kadri moments ago on the half boards, nothing there. And then this time, well, okay, maybe it's time to call one of these. And that one was probably, that one wasn't much.
Boarding though, and he's gone. 2-1 the score, Ottawa leading. 10:39 remaining, third period in Toronto. Face off, won by Ottawa. Carlson. Nice pass quickly to Legwand. Punch to the net, back out front. Score! Shot fired by Kyle Turris and deflected at the side of the net. But it's in, and Ottawa has that 2-goal spread again.
Well, the first order of business for a good power play is to get puck possession and win the draw. Senators do just that, and then guess who? Stone has been a factor in this game all game long. Gets in front of Reimer. Reimer's paying far too much attention to him and loses concentration a little bit, but this puck, I think it just hit the blocker and went in. Off Turris' stick. Let's have another look here. Komarov's stick first, the flutter ball, and that is a change-up, hits Phaneuf, and no chance for Reimer, and goes into the net.
Quick goal on the power play by Ottawa, and that 2-goal lead again. Just 9 seconds into the power play, that goal was scored. Turris got the puck out of the zone. We'll get the official on the goal scoring in just a moment. We are just about up to the halfway mark of the third period. And Ottawa, with the Leafs checking hard, coming after him, get that lead again up to 2 goals. Puck comes inside the line to Rielly. And he's nailed. And that hurt him. Now that's going to draw a big crowd. Rielly is back on his skates, but shaken up on that hit. Fists are flying. All the officials are in on this. Try and break it up.
An extra shot there by Mathot on Carrick. Stone gets into the act.
As long as there's not a referee there, Millsy, that would be considered legal. No linesmen are going to call that.
Where are they, Glenn?
No, they're dealing with the other 4 fights.
Okay. Just wondering.
Turris got the goal to make it 3-1 from Legwand and Carlson at 9:30.
As you race to get in the playoffs, you're either a hunter or you're the hunted. And when the Ottawa Senators got to the rink this morning, they were the hunted. They were in a playoff spot. That's the good news. The bad news is these are the guys chasing them. Stanley Cup champs just a few years ago. They win this afternoon, dust off the Rangers, and as a result, Now the Ottawa Senators are the hunter. They have to win hockey games to get back into this race as Boston is ahead of them. Well, they've done the job effectively tonight, and that third goal could not come at a better time.
MacArthur for boarding at 10:10 the time. And now, Toronto has a chance. Circling back, that's Riley, leads it 4-0. And he delivered the pass that'll get the Leafs in the zone. It is shot in around the boards, it comes quickly. Leafs try to get possession. Van Riemsdyk missed a chance. Riley stopped it at the blue line. Stick handle a little bit. Whipped it up there, and a hard shot by Phaneuf was deflected out of play into the netting.
Break the ice with Icebreakers, official mint of the NHL.
Face-off is in that big circle to the left of Craig Anderson. Shots are 25 Toronto, 23 Ottawa. The score is 3-1 Ottawa. It got by Phaneuf at the blue line. They won the face-off cleanly. He'll try to bring it on and get it deep. Passes off to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk doesn't take a shot. Whipped it back to the blue line. Kessel rink wide with it. And stepping up is Riley. Left it behind the net, and Riley takes it again. Looks back out front. Gives it to Phaneuf. No shot there. Kessel might. Does not yet. Back to Phaneuf. Back to Kessel. Back and forth on the power play. Kessel's pass too hard, too wide of the intended recipient. It's cleared by Kessel to the corner. Dumped in on the boards. Ottawa's Greiva fighting for the puck, but the Leafs have it under control. They'll pass it around on the outside again. Want to spring somebody loose. It's a 2-goal lead for Ottawa, but here's Kessel. Right in front, score! Bozak at the lip of the crease, put the high shot in, and Ottawa is showing great concern again. With 8:31 remaining, it's a 1-goal game again.
Well, the Senators in good position here. Give the Leafs credit. They got a bit of puck movement, but a break for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it hits Van Riemsdyk's big toe off the Kessel pass, and then ends up right on the stick of Bozak. And he makes no mistake. The question is, did Van Riemsdyk try to turn the skate to direct the puck over to Bozak? If so, it was a heck of a play.
Play is whistled dead at the blue line. 8:22 left now in a 1-goal game again. So we're in for a pretty good finish.
Shooting the puck over the glass, guys. That's the penalty.
Yep, delay of game call.
Just like that. And Cameron now obviously extremely concerned at the moment. And here's a look at the penalty. And chop up over the glass and goes.
And here's another setup for the Maple Leafs to maybe get a tie game. Ottawa has to be careful now, trying to kill this one off, and they send it down the ice. Reimer out to stop it. It's steady. The Leafs come back and get organized, and Phaneuf will bring it on. Up to the line, Bozak to his right. He dropped it for him. Bozak comes over center. Over on this side is Riley, the other defenseman. The crowd chanting Leafs to go harder now. They're 1 goal down to the Ottawa Senators. The Leafs, everybody knows now, are out of it. But pride is showing tonight as they battle back from a 2-goal deficit, and they are about to maybe get a chance to tie it up on the power play. Van Riemsdyk put it behind the net. He'll stay back there. It'll go out to Phaneuf. Phaneuf ready. Shoots the puck. Hit a stick. Came back to him. Kept it in. Back to Dion Phaneuf again. Pass goes to the far side. Coming on is Riley. Left it up the side of the net. Riley open. And the shot off the crossbar. And up over the glass. Bozak showing a hot hand. Set up again and ripped it off the crossbar.
A big line with a wake-up call this third period. Give Bozak credit. He gets away from the traffic, sneaks in the seam. That's a crossbar away from a tie game.
Crossbar away from the very first career hat trick for Tyler Bozak.
Natural. Leafs win the draw. Tried to set it up from the line as Bryn turned it back off the boards. The pass comes back to the line, and here's Gardner. Gives it up to the other side. The shot is knocked down. Big loose puck in front of the goalie, too, for a few seconds, and lifted out to center. Ottawa now just trying to kill off this penalty they have with 6:50 remaining in the third. 3-2, Ottawa leads. The Leafs on the fly. Up over the line and coming in to Scandry. Trying to make the pass and hit a skate, and 2 Ottawa Sens are out. Led by Stone over the line. Mark Stone continues on with the puck. In around the net. Gardner trying to take it from him and couldn't. He just killed some time by getting it out to center, and then Ceci drifted a shot wide of the Leaf net. It'll bounce all the way out to Chiasson. He played it back to Wierkosh. Wierkosh through the middle of the pass. Onside is Chiasson. Backed it up. Zibanejad put it on the net. Covering was Reimer on the rebound that came right to him. Now cleared out of the zone by Panik for Toronto. They get the puck ahead, broken up at the Ottawa blue line by Chiasson, and the star defenseman Carlson is on it. Brings it up and dumps a high one in. Is in behind the net all right. And the Leafs get a hold of it. Panik backhanded the puck out over the line. For the puck deep in that Ottawa zone again. Backed up by David Booth around the net. Nobody could get over to pick it up, get something going in there. Falling near center was Chiasson, allowing the Leafs to get in. Again, it was Kadri who had a chance to break in. Chiasson gave it away to Kadri. He left it at the blue line for Riley, coming hard at the net. Was forced to go to the corner with it, gets a hold of it and got it back. Right under the stick of Legwand, though, and he gets the puck out of the zone and down the ice. 5:05 remaining, third period. And the Maple Leaf goalie feels he has to cover up on this. They get too close. Reimer down on him. Hangs on. 5:01 to go.
Erin Phillips, the wife of Chris Phillips, jokingly chirped Curtis Lazar for eating a burger during the great run by Andrew Hammond. She's a nutritionist and does all the meals for the family and Lazar, who lives with the Phillips. He's also launched a cookbook this year, recipes from a variety of professional athletes, wives and moms. And by the way, just an update on Chris Phillips. He is back skating, but there is no timeline on a return. Bob?
Okay, we have 5 minutes and a second left to play in the third. And Ottawa's hanging on to a 3-2 lead. Leafs are coming on a bit stronger, and Van Riemsdyk nearly got a breakaway pass. Just couldn't quite control it as he got across center ice and near that Ottawa blue line. The Sens the other way. That pass grabbed by Kessel. He's back down the ice for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kessel shoots. He missed the net with that hard wrist shot. It ricochets off the boards all the way the length of the ice the other way. And the Leafs come back. Morgan Riley. Pass straight ahead. That's knocked down at the Ottawa blue line and swept back by Pajot. Up steps Mathot. Gave it away at the Leaf blue line. And again, Toronto gave up a chance to rush in. Brought back down, and the shot fired in was off a stick. Pajot took a drive. That was deflected, and that is out of play.
Well, let's visit our Budweiser scoreboard this evening. A couple of big games that the Ottawa Senators, one in particular that they're looking at, as the Canadiens and the Florida Panthers are all tied up at 2. The LA Kings, another big game, are down by 1. And the Eastern Conference standings, you look at them at the moment, the Senators will get Florida next. Florida, they play the Leafs against the Senators, and of course Florida has Boston a couple of times. So this could get very interesting in the next week.
Enough started the Leafs off again. They get up over the line. Kadri trying to bring it in. He skates in hard to pick it up. Knocked it loose for Lupul along the boards, trying to set it up from the line. And he lost it, and it came outside the blue line and down the ice. Leafs back up. Eric Brewer right in front of his own goal. Now looks ahead. Where will he go? He'll take it to center and dump it in. But the Ottawa Sens are back, and Mathot picked it up. He rolled a pass ahead. Zibanejad gallops out of the zone. Played it down a bit too far for Carl. Somebody caught up and took the shot on the short side and missed by not much. Off to center ice, stolen again by the Maple Leafs. Kadri couldn't get a shot. He was back-checked quickly, and the Ottawa Sens get away to center. Dumped ahead by Bobby Ryan in deep. 3:15, that's all that's remaining in the third period, and the Leafs are fighting back. They're 1 goal down. Up they come, Panik over the line. Tried to go in, he did get the puck in deep. The goalie made a smart move coming out to play it. It's tapped to the line, but kept onside by Toronto. Having to back up as CC, played it off the boards behind his own net. 2:50 left to play in the third. The Leafs trailing by just a goal. And it's in deep in the Toronto zone. Jake Gardiner first will pick it up and start looking down the ice. He'll swing away, decide to go himself, got near center and had to back off. But it'll be brought on by Morgan Riley, his partner. Got over the line, in to take a shot, too far to take a shot. The goalie for Toronto has gone to the bench. Extra man on, the shot knocked down in front of the goal. Gonna be cleared by Pajot, maybe, got it outside the line. Phaneuf was dumped, the crowd wanted a penalty call, they're not getting it. Van Riemsdyk bounced the puck in wide of the net, and he went in to hit his man. Along the boards, it's stopped by Phaneuf, the shot right in front of the net, Kessel, and it stays out somehow. Don't know how, but it stayed out. They're still looking to drive it home, but the goalie was down flat on his stomach, and the puck is frozen. The play is stopped, but my goodness, did the Leafs come close to tying it.
You know, we haven't talked perhaps enough about Anderson. Coming in off injury is always difficult, but to do this when the game is on the line is absolutely remarkable. What a game saver and maybe a season saver right here for the Ottawa Senators, Glenn.
That's just athleticism and will. He wants to make sure that this puck doesn't find the back of the net. There's where he tracks it right there. Everyone talked about the blocker hand. That's the troublesome thing. 3 times he uses that blocker to bat the puck away while it's in midair.
Feels a lot better right now, I can tell you that.
You know, the Leafs had their best chance early when he hadn't played for so long, when he'd been out for so long.
Toronto calls a timeout.
Wednesday night, the stakes are high on Dragon's Den. Watch a new episode Wednesday at 8 on CBC.
You make a good point, Glenn. I mean, when the goalie's coming in off injury, you want to put a lot of shots on the net early on him, make him work, and the Leafs couldn't get to him early. And then he found his groove and concentration throughout the night. And then, boy, oh boy, he just came up with a game saver. As we look at a sample of his work, he was on his crease. I thought his rebound control throughout the evening was excellent. And let's not forget the penalty shot that he saved early. His second shot of the game there. And perhaps that was what gave him the confidence to have the kind of game that he's had here tonight.
Bozak has only lost 1 face-off all night. 14 of 15, a night to remember in the draw.
Face off to the left of Craig Anderson. Leafs within a goal, coming awfully close to tying this up. Net is empty for Toronto. Extra man on for the Maple Leafs. Kessel can't center it. Empty net is down there. Coming up is Turris. Lost it. Leafs get it. Riley poked it ahead. Bozak brings it on. Tried to dump it in. It's stopped at the blue line and bounces out. Cleared down a little bit by Legwan. 1:30 left to play in the third period. Toronto trying to tie it up against Ottawa, who dearly need the 2 points in this one. Score! They have tied it up. They have tied the game here in Toronto. A scrambling type goal. Everybody going to the net. Kessel might have been the one who knocked it in last. Phaneuf was up there too. And so was Bozak, who's never had a 3-goal game.
And he's going to get it, Bob, as he goes right to the net. And a beautiful pass, tape to tape. And
Kessel was on the lip of the crease.
Kessel right there as well.
Should have been over though, boys. Senators had the puck over center ice, empty net. And Turris doesn't close the deal. Now it's wide open for the last 124. anyone's game.
It sure is now. 3-3 with 1:14 left to play. And the Leafs have kind of taken over in this late third period stage on this hockey team. And the crowd is into it now. Big time. We're in the final minute of regulation time. Next goal probably is a winner. It's dumped ahead over the line and turning around with his Borowiecki. Got the pass away. Stepping up over the line, Condra. Shot in wide of the net. It'll come by David Booth, and he'll get it out of the zone and down the ice. Leafs take charge. They've tied the game. Gardner ripped it in. They're in after it quickly. Booth over there. He lost a chance. It got to the line. Riley was stopping it. Cleared it ahead. Back there, Mathot. Mathot played it ahead. And it's in wide of that Ottawa goal. Kessel indeed got the goal that tied it. The play was offside at the Ottawa blue line.
Me?
Kessel from Bozak and Van Riemsdyk. Kessel's 25th. Ties the game.
Here's the game right here. Torres gets to center, no goaltender in the net. They don't close the deal, and as a result, the puck ends up in the back of their net, and they're tied.
Carlson played it off the boards and in over that Toronto blue line. Little jump in every step of the Maple Leafs now as they get to the puck. Don't get it out, though. Pick loose in front of the net as the horn sounds to end regulation time. Ottawa gets a point. Ottawa needs 2 points. You know that. They have overtime coming.
Well, they announced Kessel in the building, but we're going to give this goal to Bozak for the hat trick. He tips it there. It goes right off the post, and Kessel never touches the puck. And he's telling the official now, that's not my goal. That's my buddy Bozak's goal. And he gets his first career hat trick.
Very good, indeed. So it's a Bozak goal, and as Greg says, his first career hat trick. And Toronto is in overtime against Ottawa. Now it's kept in by the Senators. Phaneuf steals the puck away from Hoffman and got it near the line. Phaneuf has to go for it again. Backed it up. Hoffman skates with him. He did not get near the puck. Over there is Brewer trying to move it out. Pass got to center to Kessel. Look at the speed. Oh, and he's shot by Anderson. What a burst of speed by Kessel. And a good shot, too. Great save by Anderson to keep it alive here in overtime. Carlson moves up. Look out for Carlson. Wristed the pass in front, trying to hit Hoffman, and missed him with it. The Leafs on it. Riley comes from the corner and dumped it out to center ice. Kadri brought it over the line and tried to get in there, but lost a chance to get in there. And it is going to be Carlson who'll move it again quickly. Down the ice a little bit too far for Pajot. It's indeed no icing. The Leafs have to hurry for it, but Ottawa takes over. Played back by Ceci, long shot, broken stick. Nothing on that. And the Leafs will get the puck out of the zone. Lead pass doesn't come off. Ceci blocked it. Now down the other way for Ottawa. Heading for the net, Turris. The shot is stopped by Reimer and cleared out to center ice. Kadri flipped it back. On comes Van Riemsdyk. Every shot is so big now. Van Riemsdyk's shot was stopped, blocked in front of the goalie, and turning to Ceci. He had to back up. Now had to make a quick pass ahead. It's dumped high down the ice as Wiercioch was hit hard in there by Komarov. Maple Leafs on the puck. We're in overtime at the Air Canada Center. Ottawa hanging on. And here the Leafs. Komarov lost it. There goes Turris again. Down the ice and coming up. In front of the net. A high backhander by Stone. Over the net. The other way for Toronto. Brennan coming down to center and over the line. Tried to center it over in front. That was off his stick. And Mathot takes over. One action here in overtime. 2:27 left to play in overtime, maybe. Up is Mathot. Stopped before he could get in to make a play, and it's taken by T.J. Brennan. This way with it. Phaneuf takes his time, but Kessel doesn't take his time. He ripped away and got a pass across center, but nobody could pick it up. Bozak was up there, couldn't reach it. Back in for Hoffman for Ottawa. Hoffman waits in too far to get a shot from that angle. Hangs onto it, stick handles beautifully. Now over here, Werkosh into the crowd. It's dumped away and Kessel wants to take off. And he does. He's gone hard on an angle, but nevertheless played it back well. Off the goal post. Empty net. Score. Brewer came in from the blue line. And the Maple Leafs have defeated the Ottawa Senators in overtime tonight in Toronto. This. A spoiler roll by Toronto. And oh baby, did they come back and pull it off.
This is the frustration for Leaf fans that they've been living all season long. Phil Kessel for 2 periods was non-existent. And then all of a sudden, he just turns it up and takes the game on his back, sets up this play, and then the scramble is on, and Eric Brewer finishes it off, joining the attack and going to the net. All because of Kessel's speed, backing everybody up, and then snapping the puck right across to Bozak, who almost got his 4th goal of the game right there.
Brewer just celebrated his 1000th game, his last goal, February 8th. He probably felt like it was 1,000 games ago. But that's a good reaction from a bench and a coaching staff that knows this group didn't give up. They fought back from 2 goals down, and they win in OT.
It was a dull game for most of the night. But, brother, it wasn't dull at the end. Bozak with his first ever 3-goal game. The first star. Turris, he was number 2. And Phil Kessel came alive, especially in the 3rd, with great speed. 3 assists. And the Leafs win the game. And now, let's go to George Stroumboulopoulos.